Hello everyone and welcome to Zankcast, where we discuss Beyblade topics. I have my co-host Nizuma here, and we'll be discussing the Hasbro news and the UX news that we got this week.
Awesome, thanks for having me, bro.
Okay, so this week was filled with quite a bit of stuff. We got all the UX information, the Hasbro from the press conference meeting, kind of some stuff to go by. And I thought we would kind of start off with the Hasbro stuff because it's a little bit small.
Sure.
So they basically did their whole press conference meeting talking about the quarter that they had in 2023, which actually, if you search it right now on their Q4 from 2023, I think they're down $1 billion.
Wow.
Crazy number like that. Let me see. Q4 Hasbro. Yeah, Hasbro reports 20% revenue drop, issues down, but yeah, they're bleeding.
Wow, that's a lot.
Okay, so I'll read over the quotes. I'd be looking at, and this is basically when they're talking about like a lot of stuff for this year. I'd be looking at Beyblade X as a huge launch for us. It did many orders of magnitude larger in Japan last year than Beyblade Burst 2016. We're expecting to be quite the runner, and the early feedback from our toy fairs, our retailers are getting behind it as well. And then after, just the first part, they're just talking about this idea of like, wow, it's going to be so very popular. And the other one in particular I was interested with was when they're talking about collaborations, because I got the quote pulled up in here, so I'm just reading it. So they're basically asking about, I think this is Magic the Gathering, the Universe Beyond stuff. There's some collaborations. So the guy was asking, why did you do Marvel and Final Fantasy? And the guy was answering, well, I think genuinely speaking, what's the benefit of it, whatever. So it was like, genuinely speaking, all of the above. However, I think there's a special emphasis for Universes Beyond is new player growth. The Lord of the Rings was by far, in a way, the most successful product in bringing in new players into the franchise that we ever included. We would anticipate the same and potentially even greater for IPs like Marvel and other stuff, blah, blah. Great way to expand the base to users. So the big thing here is that we're kind of talking about, what's the point? Obviously, we understand that it's a crossover. You're trying to bring new players in. So it seems they're really trying to copy and paste the formula they've been doing with Magic and then trying to apply it to Beyblade X's launch. Like they're trying to just maximize as much attention as possible, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, more or less.
Even in the context of this, like they're bleeding like really bad.
Yeah, so I'm not like super familiar with Magic. I've played it a couple times, but I do know that like Magic is like very much a like visually, to me, it's like very high fantasy in terms of like the card art and stuff. Like it's very old school Dungeons and Dragons looking versus like other games like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or like Card Fight or whatever that are like very vibrant, a lot of like anime-esque like art style or whatever. So I think Magic like has a hard time competing with that in that aspect. Like the card art is just like not as appealing to kids, I think. So I can so it makes sense in the context of like doing crossovers for Magic, because like there's no show, there's no anime or anything, there's no huge franchise, but like Beyblade, I don't know that it needs it really.
Well, here's another one. We saw an incredibly strong launch from Beyblade X last year in Japan from our partners Takara Tomy, and are eagerly anticipating the US launch this summer, what we believe will be one of the hottest new toys of 2024. It is an exciting product we think longtime collectors, that's if you guys don't mess it up, and kids fresh to the franchise will be thrilled with. So the way they talk about it, I really think that you look at stuff like Transformers, which Transformers, it's like, okay, you're going to maybe have a certain amount of appeal between maybe kids and adults, you know, maybe Star Wars, you'll maybe still have that appeal, maybe Marvel, but it's not like I doubt it's as massive as something like Beyblade, because Beyblade is, you buy multiple copies of it. It's more applicable to like older and young because a lot more get
Yeah.
into it. And I think they're really trying to rely on Beyblade X to save their ass from bleeding all that 2023.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like Beyblade it has to do well for them. Otherwise, like
It's done.
things are yeah. There's they don't have that many properties that I think are moving a ton of product. I mean, Transformers will always move product, but like when you think about like toys just in general, like
Yeah.
a lot of kids. My cat, sorry. A lot of kids, I think, have moved past toys. So like it's very rare for me to like, especially like if I'm at a store and I'm in like the toy aisle just looking around or browsing or whatever, it's very rare to see kids in the toy aisle. It's very rare to see kids outside playing with toys. Like I think kids are, it's really like the iPad and like Xbox generation. I don't know how much, like past a certain age, I don't know how much kids actually play with toys anymore. I mean, card games are a little different because like there's,
Yeah.
active communities and collections and things. Beyblade sort of has that same appeal. So I definitely think like there's potential. I mean, obviously there's potential. It's insane in Japan right now. So I think it depends on how they market it. I don't know that like crossovers with Marvel or Star Wars are gonna like get people into the hobby. Like I don't know that they would look at that and be like, oh, I want to get into Beyblade because Iron Man has a Beyblade now. Like maybe it trickles down. Maybe they end up looking up stuff on YouTube and then they end up down a rabbit hole. But I think more than anything, I think how they market the franchise, how they market X is going to dictate whether or not older audiences get into it. I don't think a Star Wars Beyblade is going to make a huge dent in the amount of people that invest in Beyblade long term.
It's even like I don't know. I'm trying to think like, well, like the Hello Kitty collab. I know some people that got into Beyblade because of the Hello Kitty stuff, but I don't know. I feel like Hello Kitty is such a different thing from a lot of like the Marvel stuff, whatever. For like in terms of general appeal, I feel like Hello Kitty would be probably far above Marvel or Star Wars.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are also franchises that have not been doing that great over the past few years either. Like ever since, Endgame or whatever, like Marvel's kind of been hit or miss with a lot of the stuff that they've been putting out too. Same with Star Wars. Star Wars has had some like, some stuff that's been pretty popular on like Disney Plus, but outside of that, like it's been very I don't know. People are kind of have been on the fence about both the properties. I feel like for a while now, because like the content, the quality of the content has not been amazing. So I mean, if I wasn't into Beyblade and I went down the aisle and I saw Iron Man Beyblade, I might be like, oh, that's cool. If I was a collector of Marvel stuff, I would want it. But if I just liked Marvel and I saw it, I don't know that it would convince me to be like, oh yeah, I need this spinning top with Iron Man's face on it.
Yeah.
That's just me though. I mean, I'm just thinking about how like I would perceive it if they were like if I wasn't already into the franchise.
So, yeah, we're gonna get more information. I don't know. I mean, this is like more the investor stuff, so I would assume probably leaning towards the May. Probably we'll probably get a bit more. We've already covered the marketing. I think this week they did one good ad with Bolt Spryzen. Like they finally paid someone to edit that I saw this week. So, maybe they got a new marketing team. Hopefully. Oh god. But yeah, aside from that, for the Hasbro stuff, that's kind of it. It's just more seems pretty reliant on it, and we'll see where it goes from there. They did do, even though we already know about this, for Beyblade Day, they did the tweet for 3/21, which is, I think, is a Thursday, which is going to be the 25th anniversary information. So we already know Storm Pegasus, and this is actually going to segue before we even talk about the 321, is that I actually got mixed because the Beyblade the XS UX's launch, for a lot of people that don't know, a lot of stuff changed behind the scenes. For starters, as we can see, UX04 was scheduled for March. They moved it to April, which pretty much the April 27th date is now just that guaranteed dates for all the other stuff. But you can see with the Shark release, because there is a B4 store exclusive Toys R Us, this little Shark Edge, March 23rd. So the release date was March 23rd. It gets pushed to March 30. They push another product to the end of April. And I originally thought that they swapped Shark and the set, but the thing is that BXG04 is not the Shark. Shark is what they say it's BXG06. So that means in April, we have the UX04 set, we have the random booster. What else is there? There's the Stadium and BXG and the booster thing. So now going back to the whole thing of this announcement thing, we essentially have a basic line random booster and a basic booster, and then after Stadium and the thing. So what do you think April has in store for us? Just based, because March now, could it be 2 crossover bays? Is it just Drigger S?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I guess they could. I mean, I guess it could be like maybe Drigger and Pegasus if they wanted to push out 2.
I'll take it.
But yeah, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me if they wanted to get something else from like one of the other gens in around that time. But we haven't. If we see like pictures and stuff of like Pegasus, like in the next month, I would say it's pretty likely. But if that doesn't happen for a while, then maybe it's something else. But it wouldn't surprise me.
Because it gets really confusing because the regular BX bays are the basic line, and now UX is the unique line. So if the random booster is a basic line, and there's also, that other one, I'm just trying to like I don't know. I know for sure Drigger S has to be in April anyways because they're starting in spring something, but I'm really hoping they announce more than just Drigger S, because like if it's just like a Drigger S day, no one's gonna care.
Yeah, I definitely think. Like, I mean, I like Drigger.
For like
I like
or whatever.
I like Drigger, but I definitely feel like we don't have any of the main characters yet. So like Tyson, Jenga, Vault, which I mean they'll probably do the burst stuff later down the road, I would imagine. But yeah, we don't. I mean, how are you gonna hype up like the Beyblade Day and the anniversary with with Ray? I mean, I like Ray, but he's not the main character. So yeah, I would feel like it would need to be Dragoon or Pegasus or something.
I thought it, because they said that they're working on, originally in November, they're working on Tripio, Drigger S, and the Dragoon S model. I don't know why it's so hard to believe that they couldn't just show the left model for Dragoon S. Dragoon S was released before Lost Longinus, regardless if there was a launcher to use it or not beforehand, but it's not really... They could reveal Dragoon, and you would still have to wait for an actual left bay. I don't think anything really changes. Because I think, what was my predictions, actually, for Beyblade Day? Trying to see. I think I said Drigger S, the full thing. Pegasus, maybe? Oh, no, actually, okay. I say Dragoon S reveal, Pegasus reveal, and maybe even the burst reveal. But I think the burst reveal doesn't make any sense because they only said Metal Fight. So I'm going to go with maybe Dragoon S, Pegasus, Drigger S for either full bay, and then the other two maybe just the models.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, even if they just did a reveal for Dragoon, I feel like that would be super hype. Like even if you had to wait a couple of months for it, like, yeah, people would be hyped for that.
Okay, next up on the topic is the general Beyblade X stuff. I did not have time this week, so I will have to ask someone in the comments to do a tally to find out how badly I lost the bet, because we did the bets on the products and the bets on the story. So if I failed on both...
Yeah, I don't know how many people watched or tallied it up in the last podcast. If you guys watched the last podcast, we made a bet at the end. Yeah, somebody has to like tally up that stuff and let us know in the comments who won. I think I won, actually.
Probably.
But I'll let you guys decide.
So
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of that, with the UX line, kind of, what do you think on what we've seen? Because they dropped yesterday, like promo visuals. We see proper side profiles. We got basically all of the info on the parts. What do you think?
I think everything looks great. In terms of like, especially the blades, all of the blades I think look really cool. I think Buster looks awesome. Aesthetically looks super cool. I'm very interested to know if it's off balance, like how off balance. I'm sure it is, but like how bad its stamina is going to be, because I expect it to be like kind of like Shark. I saw your video, kind of like Shark, where it just like a couple hits and then it's dead. I'm interested to know if it's I'm interested to know if it's a little better than Shark. We'll see. I'm gonna be, when that releases, I'll be very interested to know how it stacks up against like Phoenix. Hammer looks awesome. It's like, I saw the side profile. The blade is so thick, like the actual metal part. It looks insane. It's super, super thick. That's crazy. I'm sure it's mostly hollow, but maybe, I don't know, maybe not. They removed the...
Even Unicorn Sting is hollow, but Unicorn Sting still somehow works, so I can't judge hollowness anymore with Beyblade X.
True. But yeah, that looks super cool. The bit looks hexa or whatever. Yeah. I know a lot of people are like trying to hype it up. They're like, oh, it'll hop and it'll do the...
Looks ass.
It'll do smash attack. To me, that looks like it's gonna be like Quake. It's like WD fused with Quake. I don't think it's gonna be good. I mean, I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping it's... here's the thing. If it didn't have the little edges on the side, like if it was just like the weird little like grooves or whatever, I think it would be all right. But because it has the edges on the side, when you tilt it and it like catches the stadium floor, it's just gonna die. I don't think that'll be good. Maybe it'll be good for like defense if you're flat launching or something. That's about all I could. That's my prediction, is like maybe it's okay for that, but I think that's the weakest looking part out of everything. The ratchet, the 70 height, I don't see that making a massive difference.
Yeah.
Because it's like what, 1 millimeter?
Yeah, I don't...
Or half a millimeter? What's the difference between 60 and 80? So it's half a millimeter.
No, sorry. 60 and 80 is 2
millimeters. So it's a 1 millimeter difference. I don't think that there's that big of a difference for 1 millimeter to... I mean, maybe it'll be a tiny bit heavier than 60 and not affect... I don't know. I'm not hyped for the 70 height. I mean, I'm glad we're getting other ratchets, but it just doesn't look like it's really going to do anything different. As far as the Wizard goes, I think that's the one that looked, to me,
the best
overall. Yeah, looks best in terms of all of the parts. I think the blade looks like, as long as like the weight's good and like the distribution's good, I think that's going to be really good. Might replace Hell Scythe. I think the bit is probably the most interesting bit that we've got. I think it'll probably outclass Ball. Because it drops the center of gravity of the whole Beyblade. So I think the stamina overall will be better. I'm not sure, like, I'm sure people are 3D printing them already, but I'm not sure how it's going to work in terms of LED, if that's even going to make contact with the floor. But that part looks really good. Wizard overall, I think looks best in terms of overall parts, but everything looks good. All of it to me looks really good. Aesthetically looks really good. I think all of the blades look good. I think probably the weakest part is just Hex.
Yeah. So Drawn Buster, I think will have the same issue as every Excalibur will, just stamina, because of it's an oval shape, whatever. So I'm assuming even if it's the best attack type, you make some taper combo, it'll shut it down, maybe. 160 is very interesting. I think it's only going to be used on Drawn Buster.
Yeah.
Excel and Hex both introduce 16 gears, which just means they're going to accelerate a lot more in the extreme line. On paper, it sounds interesting, but this will probably just be maybe slightly better than a gear flats, because if you have that much speed, that means unless in the surface area seems the same as a regular flat, you're going to probably risk self-kill if you go too hard of a launch, but each of these bays have a focus. So Buster's focus is a one-hit kill. I think it'll probably do that. I don't really think there's really much negative to this one. It seems pretty strong on its own. Hill's Hammer, the blade's idea is, was it Force Smash? It's supposed to hit them onto the ground. It's got a pretty good shape of a blade. I mean, it's very close to just being an attack type. It basically is an attack type blade, but they have to mark with balance. I don't care about the 70ite. It should have been done in Wyvern Gale. It's not. Who cares?
Yeah.
Hexa or whatever. I think they might be trying to rival Spike for worst bit. Hopefully not. I'm not confident on that one. The Wizard one, it feels like they just thought the Hell combos are dominating too much. You got to make a new stamina type, and then they just made Wizard Rod because all of them have thick blade designs. Even if they're hollowed out, that's still going to be pretty nuts. Wizard is just this time. Even though all of UX is technically OWD for the marketing, because the plastic prongs are there now instead of metal prongs. Wizard in particular specialized in that. So I'm assuming it'll probably be. It looks pretty like it's got the shape for stamina. If the defense works, that'll be good. I'm sure there will be a gap like before, but I don't think that's going to stop much if the stamina is high. 570. Don't care about 70. Not that it's bad. It's just what difference is that going to make? Disc Ball, I think, is a little bit crazy because all the bays are going to always destabilize because they're like a giant pencil for their balance. Then you add a circular guard. That now makes them a lot more stable. So logically speaking, it's very improbable for Disc Ball to ever lose to a ball or an orb. Not unless there is some freaky height matchup, maybe, and maybe it destabilizes, but even then, that looks like really strong to me. It looks like the most promising one. Actually, funny enough, even though I know the boosters are cheaper than the starters, I think Wizard Rod is actually sold out, and the other Buster and the Hammer are not. And it just goes to show that when they say stamina, I guess it sells. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think people are just seeing it as this has the overall best potential. Because I think Buster will be good, but I mean we already have other attack types, and I don't know that it's I'd be very surprised if Buster outclasses all of the attack types we have already. I think it'll be good, but just the fact that it's going to have it'll have worse stamina, I think, than Dagger or Sword or Phoenix. So, and Phoenix is super heavy. So even if it's close to that weight, maybe it's a good Phoenix counter because we do need that, but we'll see.
Yeah, and the one positive actually leading into UX, which I'm just finding my screenshot that I did, but I recently did get another Phoenix Wing for collection, and it is an updated mold. So basically what that means is just before they had Square holding onto the ratchet, Now it's like half a square, slanted square. And when you go into something like UX, if they still had the squares, I would be scared for Buster for breaking just on recoil pressure. But
Yeah.
now it's like I don't even know if that'll. I feel like they're really like solidifying a lot of these Bay's designs. I think even there's some Hong Kong drawn sword that's like on some weird promotion thing that's a reinforced mold or like it's a modified mold. So like
Yeah, I
TT's
saw
been
that.
adapting. Yeah, they've been adapting more and more and more. Like I think the most you'll probably see for a break is maybe the super outlier of the blade, but maybe occasionally the bit if you get super bad luck. But I don't think this is like this is the biggest problem ever. Beyblade X sucks.
Yeah. I think the smartest thing that I've seen them do is them moving those metal tabs to like change weight distribution instead of just making them heavier. Because I feel
Yeah.
like the last, like any other gen, they would have just made them heavier and wouldn't have thought twice about it. So it seems like they're really putting a lot of thought into keeping all the releases balanced in terms of like weight and stuff. So obviously we don't have weights yet, but I'm
Yeah.
expecting them to be about the same weight as everything else
Probably.
released so far, which is great.
Yeah. And the other thing too, the only thing I thought maybe that I'm still kind of iffy on, it's the fact that I don't know what material in specific the X-Bays use for their plastic, but the only thing I'm wondering is that even if we want to say that the plastic it'll be durable enough and it probably won't break, even though plastic hooks are still scary for early launch, I
Yeah.
don't see how the sticker is going to be protected.
Oh yeah, because they removed the chip protector thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of weird to me that got removed. I heard people say that they look almost like laminated, so like a plastic lamination on the sticker. But I guess we'll see. I'm curious if the sticker's actually separated or if it's pre-applied.
Yeah. I think the sticker's just exposed. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe I don't know. I'm still wincing that they took away the protector. It's such
Yeah,
a weird thing to take away.
I liked the protectors. They reminded me of like the Bockerton Shoot bit chip protectors.
But even you can still have the protector and have those giant plastic prongs on. I don't know. It's just they. We'll see. I wanted to do a video on it, but I thought, let me wait till I get it in hand. Like it doesn't make any sense to like talk about that. But on that topic, what do you think about the variants right now? Because I think we talked about this, but I think it's like half the roster is Team Persona.
Yeah. It probably doesn't matter to people that aren't following like the anime or the manga so much because like they're just they're just buying them just to have them, and they do. I mean, the designs are different enough that like there doesn't feel like we're getting recycled the same thing. But I don't like what is Cross need another variant for? Like you mentioned it in your video too, but like he hasn't lost. He got all the way to the tower with drawn sword already. I mean, like, does he need an even stronger Beyblade? Is that necessary? Are they trying to complete like a full deck? Is that like the point of it? I want to see more teams is my thing. Like, yeah. I want more variety because right now, like, all we have is Zuganic, Yggdrasil, and then we've got Maiden, we've got what's his name, Cadaver, whatever the heck his name is, and Abracadabra. We've got the guy with the wyvern, and we've got we've got Chrome. Those are the only characters that we have Beyblades for outside of Team Persona. Like I want more teams. Like they've fought 2 teams now. That's it, and we're halfway through.
Here's the thing. The latest chapter is the same issue as the last one, where there's some TT mandate, or they gotta shove some promo at the end, and the writing becomes really shitty at the end. Like Bird's contribution in the 2v2 was just like, okay, well, we got 3 more pages left. Even this chapter that just came out, she just pulls the bays out of a case.
That was kind of weird. I'm hoping that gets expanded on in the anime, or maybe in the next chapter or something. Like, it was really weird. It was like a last panel, like, pow, new Beyblades. Like, why? For what?
Because I'm confused, because it's like, okay, there's a UX line and a basic line. Are we going to see a mix of UX and BX? Is it just UX here on out? That's why April confuses me so much. I know May, it's a random select. And when I'm just trying to think, like, for... I don't know, because, like, for the next rare Bay, I feel like it would have to be another Drake. And a UX version of Drake. Maybe?
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like... even in the explanation in the manga, when Multi's like, okay, we have to climb to get stronger because we're on like floor 50 of the tower, it's like, okay, fine, Bird, that makes sense. Her, that makes sense, I guess. Even though this whole thing of getting the new Bay makes no sense at all, almost. Kind of, I don't know. Because you have it established where, what is it, Shiguru? She basically uses the Hell Scythe, wins with it. It's not what Bay you have, it's the skill. And then after Multi says previously, well, we're making a Bay for a specific situation. So it's very weird. So it's almost like there's one aspect where it's the skill, okay, but then after, this is where it gets confusing because they have to market it, well, we need to adapt to the situation. I don't know, that's why it gets confusing. It's like, okay, fine, Common X, and maybe in the burn fight, he needed the drawn dagger. But I hope in the next chapter, maybe he makes some comment like, I don't even know, because he beats Burn and he wasn't even at full power? I don't think it was.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. I said the same thing when I did my video on the chapter. I was like, this obviously upgrading the Beyblade or making a better variant or whatever doesn't have any impact on whether or not they're gonna win, because like she can come in and use Hell Scythe and beat Chain no problem, and then beat Multi no problem. So it's like, and she's never even used it before. So it's like, you know, she's like, oh, that's interesting, and just absolutely demolishes Bird. So it's almost like a kid. I don't know, like a kid being bad at a video game, be like, oh man, I needed this new fancy keyboard. That'll make me better. And so he gets a new keyboard and it doesn't work. Oh, I need a new mouse. And this one's faster. It has better DPI or whatever, response time. Right. He buys that and he's still bad. It's like, oh man, I need a new monitor. Like, come on, guys. Like, let's actually, I would like they need to stop at this one. Okay, if Bird does not get a win with this third Beyblade, I'm just... like, I'm gonna write. I'm literally. I told you the other day. It's like, if he does not get a win with this other Bay, I will make an hour-long video about how much I dislike Bird and why I dislike him. And I don't care what any of you little kids comment in the comment section. All right, Bird is ass. He's not good right now. He's awful. He keeps getting new Beyblades and he gets this one shot every time. Like Rhino, one shot. Who else did he fight? Just one shot, left or right. Everywhere he goes, just bam, done. He's like, have him focus on training. Have him get a win with this new Beyblade. This is like a return to the Strike Hawk motif in terms of like the aesthetic design.
Yeah,
let him get a win.
Well, this is the thing. They have to shove in the UX thing. So what, did Multi just make all of these bays? Where was their input? That's the issue that I have with the thing. Even with the Bird, it's like, what is his progression? Tell me Bird's progression, at least based off of the manga. Okay.
He got a hit off on
the cut over test.
Stakes. Well, and
survived.
Sphinx, he did damage to Sphinx. He almost did enough.
He
That
copies
was
it.
that was
He copies the imitation extreme dash, but this is the issue with the manga. It's like we're making up progression in our heads for Bird. Oh well, Bird wasn't confident, so then after he copied the extreme dash, and yeah, you know what that's called? That's shitty writing. That's like in JoJo when Jotaro goes to Dio. Oh, it's the same type of stand to Star Platinum. Yeah, that's convenient for the plot.
Yeah, I agree. I'm curious. My idea is that this new Beyblade for Bird is like, because when they made Chain, he still didn't have any information on the battle pass or whatever. So she had to make Chain basically without any information on him because he hadn't had it turned on or whatever. So they didn't log any info. So my canon for this is that he's finally logged some info. She's able to make a Beyblade that's actually suited towards him. And she was like, okay, well, let's return him back to his original design or whatever, or get him closer to that because that will work for him. That's how I explain that. But in terms of Buster and Wizard, I don't know that either of those are necessary to the plot. But again, it's, I mean, they gotta shove in new products somewhere. I would have rather it had been a new team.
Wizard, you can at least make the excuse that Multi is trying to catch up to her sister, and maybe it's a bit that like maybe fully embraces like her identity or something like that. You know, I don't know. Multi, I'll let it slide.
She could have revealed that though with her sister. She could, because she literally used Wizard, did she not, in this past battle?
She used Wizard, and she loses the exact same way, and I can't tell if it's a tactic or not. I don't know.
Like, because she could have used the new Wizard. She could have been like, I know that Hell Scythe. Here's my new Wizard. But now it's
the issue. It's the anime. Is this but worse? Because Burgess loses increased, and we're not seeing him. Okay, actually, the anime only did one time. And no, well, there's one training thing, whatever. Okay, fine. And there's the before the Kadobra thing, X and him are training, and some things before early on. But like, when you see Bird is still losing, like I don't know what's such a hard concept for people to understand that he can win outside the X Tower. It's not. I mean, on the anime now, everyone has a Phoenix Feather.
He doesn't have to win against a pro. He can win against some kid outside of the tower to at least give us something. Show us that he's capable of winning at all. Like everybody's like,
developing at all.
Yeah, it's progression. He'll get there. He'll win. It'll make sense or whatever. And they're trying to justify it. It's like his final battle is going to be against Chrome or this or that, and he's gonna that would be stupid. It would be stupid for him to lose.
We don't see
50 episodes.
If we don't see any proper progression, whether it's launch or him actually learning, because he's been doing shit. He hasn't been actually understanding Beyblade at all. He's been just giving shit and just trying to operate it. And he's not that compelling of a character, no matter how much these essayists want to try to make the essay on why Bird's writing is genius. It is not. You have some aspects of how the world views him, and that's his challenge in this story. But the journey itself, listen, there's a difference in the first 3 chapters for how he reacts when he loses, and then after you throw the comedic expressions. Like, I don't know why people are arguing for mid. Not even mid, less than mid.
Yeah, I mean, I was a Bird defender at the start. I was like, I like this. I like that he's losing. It's like, I like the sort of slow burn thing. But I expected for him to have won 5 chapters ago. Or in the anime, I don't know, 15 episodes ago or something. He needs to win somewhere. Because he's just they're going to keep going up the tower. And if it doesn't feel like he's getting better, if it doesn't feel like he's capable of winning, once they get to the end, or once they get to the battle where he actually does win against the top 1% of the tower, it's not going to make any sense. It's going to feel like luck. It's going to feel like RNG, because up until that point, he hasn't won at all. So he needs to win soon. I'm expecting this 3rd Beyblade is going to be the one, and it's going to click, and he's going to win with that. That's my prediction. Soon. For the love of God, give us a win soon.
What I'm assuming, and it depends on next month is, but since there's a 3-player stadium, I'm assuming they could potentially be having it where they all train against each other to learn the bays, and it'll be something where Common X wins at the end, where maybe Bird does slightly better and adjusted against maybe both of them. Multi will outspin him, but then after Common X will like extreme finish it, or I don't know, something like that.
I think I think a battle royale would be cool. So like full team against full team, and like maybe Bird's win is like, you know, one of them KOs or double KO. So like maybe Multi and another character double KO. Maybe Common KO somebody else, and then, you know, they're tied up and Bird gets in the last shot, and that's like his big win or something. Like I could see that.
You can incorporate the 3-player stadium to be like a training between just Persona members. You could have it be a full 3-on-3 for the teams.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I mean, Common X, I don't know. I'm still trying to. I'll wait till the end because it's hard to kind of gauge how I feel about him in the series, because his whole purpose is just to fight Chrome, and everyone else is below him. That's fine. Okay, whatever. Multi's thing is that she wants to beat her sister. So if they establish that the Chrome has to be stronger than X, otherwise it makes no sense. Or it has to be at least equal to X, because then after that battle will make sense. Multi versus her sister, okay, there are some stakes there, whatever, because her sister is now demonstrated to be way stronger, but it's like, that's the thing. For the final team battle, I can see, but they got to do something for the future team stuff, because every single team battle has just been, with the exception of Yggdrasil, has been, actually it's only really one team battle.
Yeah.
Well, Bird loses, Multi wins, Common X wins. Yggdrasil, Common X wins. Okay, fine, 2v2, whatever. We let that one slide. So I don't know. They got to bring something interesting to it. But aside from that, I am hoping we get a UX. I don't even know if we can get a UX rate, because that's what I was going to say. I almost forgot. It's like, they have to explain the in-universe explanation for this thing, because if someone else is going to get a UX bay, how does that work?
Yeah, they're going to have to explain that or whatever. The fact that they have 2 separate lines now is really strange to me. I mean, it's weird. It's really weird. So, like, I don't know. I don't even know where to begin, like, trying to figure out what their plan is there, what the purpose is outside of, like, it being the new fancy thing or whatever. But typically, like, if they're changing the product name or the product code or whatever, like, they adopt that for the rest of the releases. But if they're keeping both, I don't know. Very confusing.
I assume it's because they started weird, and because the anime is so different now. Like, this is like unprecedented, and March has always been the time when they switch. And the case here, they're both existing, so I think that's probably why. But yeah, I don't know, because even all the other generations, there's like so many more bladers that you see. That's why I don't want any more I don't want a UX shield. I'm sorry, or knights, whatever. Let it stay. We don't need another Persona Bay, please.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't like. I hate comparing gens a whole lot, but like in terms of the story, like we're halfway through and we have 2 other teams. Like any other series, we've got like at least half a dozen other teams that have already been introduced. So it feels like we're lacking some variety. Like, I don't mind a slower paced story, but like it's starting to feel like it's dragging a bit, like things are taking too long to happen. And then they end up just jumping. So they went from floor 0 to floor 50, and now they're about to jump up again, I'm sure. They're not going to go to floor 51, I guarantee it. So I'm interested. I'm hoping that they start giving us more teams. But even then, like if we already have like releases lined up for next month, we've got, we'll have releases the following month. We've got some of the releases lined up for the following month. And then like the end of, or the middle of fall or whatever, like that's the end of the first season. So there's in terms of like how much they can release between now and then, like they need to, like maybe we get 2 other teams, maybe, because we've got March, April, we've got May, June, July. I mean, I guess they could do more than that. I mean, we could get like if they stopped focusing on Persona and started giving us other stuff.
We could at least get 1 new team, and then after it would have to be maybe a Phoenix variant, and then after it'd just be Pendragon. I don't know. Yeah, because you're right. It is the fall, so aside from that, not really much else to go over until we find out something for next week. We went over 25th Annie, UX stuff, Hasbro stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing really else. I don't know. Any other thoughts you have, or just plug?
Yeah, guys, don't get mad at me about Bird. All right, it's time. It's time for us to.
Your anger fuels me.
It's time for us to be critical of the characters and like the progression. He's got to do something. So don't get mad at me for that. I didn't write
Stop gassing up mid-writing, all right, guys? I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's like, we can't wait till the end for him to win. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't take a kid that's like, you know, a bot at a video game, stick him with a team of pros, and then he wins, you know, World Cup or something. Like, it just doesn't work like that. Yeah. He can't get carried all the way through and then get lucky. It would just make me angry, and it should make you angry too. Anyway, if you guys want to check out my channel, feel free to do so. I cover content all the way from Plastic Gen to Beyblade X. Yeah. Oh, and we have shirts too. I have shirts of my cat. His name is Max. He's in the end screen of all my videos. If you guys want to help support my channel, you should check that out, or just, you know, go check out the channel. One of the two. Anyway. Thanks for having me, Zankye. I appreciate it.
Alrighty. Yeah, we'll see you all next week. If there's not any new information, we will make up information. I mean, we will find a topic, not.
No, we're gonna make it up.
Dracil-S. Not announced. Okay. That'll be it for now. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to check out links in the description, and let us know your thoughts in the comments for the UX stuff. Did I win the bet? I did not. Did I lose the bet? Probably. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have an amazing day, and bye.